Petra, you want to come say hi to the people? Want to say hi to the internet? This is Petra. She's saying hi to you, internet. And bite me on the chin again. Mwah. Thank you. Okay, hi there, pals. Today I wanted to talk about something that is really near and dear to my heart, something I love to read, and that's short horror. One of my favorite things about short horror is that, number one, it's short, so you have a very limited amount of time to tell your story. And if you're a horror fan, you know horror can meander, it can wander, it can just have really not good endings a lot of the times. I think short horror forces authors and writers in general just to, you know, make sure to keep it short and snappy and keep it going. And so I'm gonna talk to you about 15 of my favorite short horrors and recommend them to you today. Also, side note, what I'm considering short today is under 200 pages. I know that that might be a bit on the longer side, but I consider under 200 pages for anything to be really short. So first one I'm going to talk about today is gonna hit me in the face. It's Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. This comes in at a whopping 131 pages. This is the story of, I believe his name is Junior, and he and his family have moved off the reservation, and they are currently living in a trailer and just kind of having a hard time, but Junior begins to see the ghost of his father wandering around, and he begins trying to speak to him and talk to him and communicate with him, and then things go wild from there. This is the first Stephen Graham Jones I ever read, and I absolutely love it. I thought it was incredible. It's amazing. It's wonderful. I think about it all the time. And this is, if you're into like gore and violence and family dynamics and just heartbreaking conversations, this is it. Next one I'm going to talk about is Night of the Mannequins. Again, another Stephen Graham Jones, and coming in at 136 pages. This is a story following Sawyer, a young man, as he starts seeing a mannequin that he and his friends use to prank each other, wandering around the town as all of this chaos and violence starts happening, and he believes that this is causing, that the mannequin's a herald of, you know, bad things coming. This is truly one of the funniest horror things I've ever read. I could not stop laughing while I read this. I thought it was really situationally funny, even whenever it was really dark and gruesome and violent. And I think kind of the less you know going into this one, the better it'll end up being for you. But this is just, Stephen Graham Jones is incredible. The next one I'm going to talk about is A House at the Bottom of the Lake by Josh Malerman. This is a novella following James and Amelia, who go on a first date, and they decide to go like kayaking or canoeing at a local lake, and they find a house at the bottom of it. And so it's sort of their love story just surrounding this really creepy, unsettling, really like at times gross setting. And this does not work for a lot of people, but this was absolutely incredible for me. This is one of my favorite things I've ever read from the author, and I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I read this right after Night of the Mannequins a couple of years ago, and to go from one that I thought was really funny and gruesome to one that I thought was really sweet and just atmospheric, it was good time. Also, this one clocks in at 188 pages. Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about is Elegy for the Undead by Matthew Vesely. This is another one that is coming in right at 188 pages, and this is the story of Jude and Lyle. And shortly after they marry, Lyle becomes infected with a zombie-like virus, and it is the story of just them and their love and how complicated relationships are, you know, just in general, let alone then when you are dealing with a disease that is slowly taking over you and your personality, and you follow them as Lyle just slowly starts losing pieces of himself and just becomes more and more violent and just starts forgetting things. It's so sad and so heartbreaking and so beautiful. Next one on this list is The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor LaValle. This comes in at 149 pages. This is following Charles Thomas Tester, a young-ish, I believe, man, a black man in New York in like the early 1920s or 1890s, somewhere around there. And he is basically playing a bunch of respectability politics to try and keep food on the family for his table, but he gets involved in this really nasty underworld, and I don't have words, I can't think of it, but a different side of New York than he's ever seen, and he gets pulled into this sort of cosmic horror craziness. This I think is probably my favorite, not probably, this is definitely my favorite Victor LaValle that I've ever read. I think that it's not only short and punchy and just direct to the point, it's also incredibly written, and it is just so freaking good. And I seriously, if this makes you pick up The Ballad of Black Tom and you love it, pick up anything by Victor LaValle. He's an incredible author. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is Ring Shout by P. Djèlí Clark. This is set in 1915. This is following a group of women who are fighting Ku Kluxes, which are basically just white supremacists, but that are actual literal demons, and they are trying to spread white supremacy and just their demonic influence all over this nation at this time. And these young black women have basically been tasked with righting that wrong and killing these things. This is another one that is clocking in right around 189 pages, I believe, and this is just, it's really fun, fast, and it's really sharp, and it's really has so much to say and says it so well. This isn't like one of my favorite short horrors of all time, but I think that this one is really poignant and has a lot to say, and even though I wanted it to be longer, I think it is still extremely impactful at the length it is. Okay, next one I have is Sour Candy by Keelan Patrick Burke. This one comes in at a whopping 74 pages. This one is extremely short, as you can see. This is following Phil Pendleton and his young son, who he did not have a week before this book, from the onset of this book. And it is so short, I don't want to give much more I don't want to give more synopsis than that. It's really fast, it's really creepy and weird, and if you don't like kids, or if you're someone like me who doesn't want kids, this is great because it just kind of helps solidify those opinions. The next one I have is Wild Spaces by S.L. Coney, coming in at 122 pages. This is following an 11-year-old boy as his grandfather comes to visit while he and his family are just living their idyllic lives with a new dog in their home, and then everything just starts to go crazy and creepy, and there's stuff with sea monsters, and it's very much cosmic horror, and it's incredible. This I think is one of the best exemplaries of cosmic horror in my opinion, and same with The Ballad of Black Tom. I think cosmic horror, for me personally, works when it's short. You don't have a lot of time to fuck around and assign a lot of human morality to things, and you can just keep it weird and vague, and this one does that so well. Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about is The Rue by Alan Baxter, coming in at 130 pages. I don't know what to tell you except that this follows a giant murderous kangaroo. This is very simple and straightforward with some twists and turns along the way, but it's mostly just fun. This is like B-movie horror nonsense fun, and I love it so much. It doesn't try to be more than what it is, but it also tries to say something in the short time it has, and that's what makes short horror great. Next one I have is probably going to be a controversial opinion, but it's Nothing But Black and Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. This comes in at 128 pages, and people either fucking love this or fucking hate it, and I am firmly in the former camp. This is everything. This is incredible. This is a haunted house story set in Japan following a group of friends who are going, I believe, for someone's bachelor party. And it has this beautiful language to it. Everything feels very fluid and very ephemeral, and it's just, oh, it's amazing. And I know everything I love about this is the stuff that everyone hates about it, but if you think that you might, I would highly recommend possibly checking this out from your library or anything by Cassandra Khaw, because people tend to like really dislike their work or really love their work, and I really hope that you're in the former camp. Next one I have here is To Be Devoured by Sarah Tantlinger. This is coming in at 131 pages, and this is following Andy, a young woman who has a host of issues, and she is struggling to maintain her relationship with her girlfriend and with her neighbors, but she begins to develop a fixation and obsession with a local, whatever you call a gathering of buzzards. This is gross, this is violent, this is really disturbing, and I loved it. I loved every second of this. This is one of my favorite novellas that I've ever read, and I can't help but just encourage more people to try to read it. The next I'm going to talk about is The Route and Ice of Salt by Jose Luis Zerarte. I believe I'm saying that last name correctly. This is clocking in at 143 pages, and the very quick description I can give you is a reimagining of Dracula's voyage to England, filled with gothic imagery and queer desire. That is lifted straight from Goodreads, and that is it in a nutshell. This is incredible. It's filled with longing, and it's just amazing. You should absolutely check this out. The next one I have here is Goddess of Filth by V. Castro, clocking in at 156 pages. This is following a group of friends as one of them becomes possessed, and they try to help their friend. She is dealing with she's dealing with the possession and her just latent desires coming through. It's absolutely everything. This is super fun. It's fast, it's short, and I think that this is one of V. Castro's best things that I've read to date. I think the only thing that really compares, I can't remember what it's called right now, but somewhere up here on the screen, I'm going to put it here. And so if you end up reading this and loving this, I highly recommend you check that out as well. The next one I'm going to talk about is The Scourge Between Stars by Ness Brown. This clocks in at 165 pages. This is science fiction horror. We have Jacqueline Albright, who is aboard a spaceship, is in charge of helping maintain everything, and then all of a sudden, really horrible things start happening. People start dying, mysteries start unraveling, and this is her journey to finding it. I think this is the only true science fiction horror I have on here, but this is amazing. This is incredible. I read it earlier this year, and it's just so good. It's so fast, and it's so snappy. It just really exemplifies short science fiction horror. Then the last one I have here, clocking in at 183 pages, is Fever Dream by Samantha Schweblin. I'm trying to race my battery right now. The title of this exemplifies everything this is. It is truly a fever dream. We are following an ecological horror as a woman is speaking to a boy who is not her son, trying to tell the story of what has happened in this small town. This is weird, it's bizarre, and it's incredible. This is amazing. If the cover of this doesn't sell you on it, I don't think my short description will either, but just trust me here. Just trust me. This is really good. It's really fast. You'll get through this in one sitting, and it's gonna be just a fun time. Okay, that's it. Outro things. Racing the battery. I hope you have a wonderful day. Do algorithm things if you want. I will see you next Friday. Okay, bye.